What up? What up? Welcome.
What's going on, man? What's
How
going
you
on?
feeling? Welcome to Religiously Incorrect.
Shame, Todd got us late again.
You just gonna throw shots?
Y'all know how black preachers is.
You just gonna throw shots?
African American preachers.
I love how you feel that out there like that, man. Truth of the matter is, we just got a late start today.
It's all good.
Got a late start today.
Come on in, y'all. How y'all doing? We are Religiously Incorrect, brought to you by Mike Phillips and
Mike Phillips Care. You almost missed it.
Yes, I got it, Doc.
You got it?
I'm on it. You know, in Cortland, Ohio, still out there. That boy, I watched him the other day. That boy's still, jumping up on tables and jumping off I don't know how he do it, Doc.
I blocked him. I don't want to see this. I mean, what I want to see this healthiness for?
How do you do that, do you? I mean, he ain't the same age as me.
You? He's the same age as me.
Who?
You talking about Mike?
Yeah.
Mike is a little younger than me.
Mike is younger than you?
Fernando and I are the same age. Mike is younger than both of us.
Oh, okay. Well,
You really thought this cat was your age?
yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. That's why I'm calling him Superman, because I'm like, how's he doing all this at that age?
Hey, Mike, he thinks you look old.
No, I didn't say look old. I'm just
you
saying.
old, and if he look like if he's old as you.
Well, whatever age he is too much. But go check him out. He's in Cortland, Ohio. If you want to look my age, but not like me.
But not like, that's hilarious.
But not like me, go check out Big Mike. That's the man.
That's I want to bring up the latest news, and Jeff's not as up on it as I am, but the latest over the weekend was a missing young lady, 25-year-old in Hoover, Alabama.
Okay.
And she went missing, was it like Thursday or Friday?
Okay.
And there was an intriguing story behind it.
Okay, tell us the story. Tell it to me.
The story is that she got out of her car on an interstate to help a baby that she saw out on the street or side of the street. She saw a toddler.
In the middle of the freeway?
Apparently, yes. She made a 911 call. She made a call and said, there's a child out here.
Okay.
Exited her car and was never seen from again. Her car was left there. I think her wig.
Something don't sound right about. Is this lady African American?
She's African American.
Okay.
She's like and that's what I'm saying. This got a lot of black sympathy. Where I guess the only reason we're grinning, and I guess the good word is we received word that she returned home or was found or was dropped up. We're not even sure the circumstances just yet.
So they don't know what happened to her?
She's been taken to a hospital, and that's all we know. And the family, it's a black family, they made a statement and said, our child has been returned to us. We have no further statement at this time. We will give you more details later. That, please understand we've been traumatized for 3 days, which this blew up on Twitter. It blew up on all the social media apps. Hey, Pastor Tatum, Pastor Carter, Sarah, good to see you all. It blew up. And there was this general concern, literally, black people have this thing where when something major happens, either we go straight to corporate concern or corporate comedy.
Right.
The Titan explosion submersible was instant corporate comedy. But the young black girl who went missing, because this is what it brought up. It brought up conversations about human trafficking, tactics. And so it immediately blew up were the people using this child as bait to kidnap the young lady? Because, they found her car, from what I understand. Even she was picking up food for somebody. She had told a relative they were picking up food.
So she had to take off her wig to go get the child? I'm just trying to figure this out.
Apparently...
she didn't want to get wig messed up on the freeway. What happened?
We're thinking that the wig was ripped off.
Oh, the wig got ripped off. Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Bro, this is a tragedy, man, and you clowning.
Well,
it's not a tragedy.
At least we know it's. By the way, welcome, Bill. By the way, we got a guest as we went to Mike so quick. Welcome. We got a guest in the back there.
What's happening, Bill?
Mike's boy, Bill. We just chilling. So anyway,
so
she was returned. That what we know is that she has been found safe. Roland Martin, it hit the black news, which is funny how we have our own news sources.
Oh yeah, Roland.
CNN did not announce this.
Oh,
it was Roland, the Shade Room.
It's gonna be on Saturday Night Live. No. It's gonna be
on Black Twitter.
Keenan and Kel gonna be doing a skit.
But here's the thing. People are already saying that, here's the funny thing. Let me go back to the black concern thing. People were like, they saw the statement that she somehow, and I do not know the circumstances. Maybe y'all have seen some posts since a little earlier today when they made this all public. But people were like, nah, I need to hear the whole story right now. I've been worried all weekend.
Right. We invested now. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's going on. And we're glad she's home. But there is another story of the college basketball player. She won a title a couple years ago, and she was hit and killed, tragically killed. I can't even think of her name. I'm sorry if somebody out there knows her name. Please say her name. But she was college basketball, a female star who was, and this goes to mental illness. She was walking in the street, in the middle of the street, and she was screaming, they maced me. And a couple got out the car to go get her. And by the time they got out, it was too late. Somebody had ran her over.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so big ups to her and her family. I think it was LSU. If I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Yeah.
Memphis basketball star, former LSU player, hit and killed.
Yeah.
Well, I had a uplifting story, and you just brought it all.
Well, I just want to I want to make awareness because they were saying that she had a lot of mental illness, and I think that I think it's something that especially us as African Americans don't take as serious as we should.
Jeff, I think we are. I think we're beginning to. I think it has been. I'll be honest. Mental illness in the black community and the church has almost become a trend, but we don't know what to do with it yet.
Right.
Like it's become a buzzword now. Every church is doing a workshop. Everybody's talking about it more online. Everybody's posting mental health is real. But we are, of course, as always, sorely under-resourced.
Right.
Most of us don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
We just know the phrase mental illness.
Right. That's why you got to keep on bringing on Dr. Dela Cruz.
Right. we don't know what we're talking about when we speak of mental illness. We don't know the difference between schizophrenia and, depression and, we just know some things.
Right.
And phrases are being thrown about. And to me, I'm not sure if it's healthy that we're talking about it more, but I worry that we talk about it so generically and still in the context. And again, it goes back to concern and comedy. Something about us, we just can't seem to fully invest our emotions genuinely without deflecting through lightheartedness.
Right.
And going back to this story, we just told two stories about two young black females. Thankfully, we take black females more seriously these days.
Absolutely.
In some ways.
Absolutely.
But there does seem to be this kind of continuum of concern where depending on how a story is framed or who expresses concern for it, that sort of dictates how we as a whole community and a culture speak on it and speak of it. And if something's a joke from the jump, then it just becomes a joke.
I just think that we ought to, listen to our children, watch their phones, check them out, and listen to them when they tell us, I just don't, buzzwords. I just don't want to go outside. I just don't feel like, being bothered with people. And sometimes it may be nothing, but sometimes it could be something. At least have a concern.
Care. Including as a parent, I have a problem with skepticism.
Skepticism, okay.
Because I feel like I know me, and I know kids. I know how I was as a kid. I know how kids can be. And I know this is bad to say because this is not supposed to be a mental health episode, but maybe that's what we need to bring Dela Cruz on and talk about. I seriously have skepticism as a black dad about it's almost like the stomach hurts when you don't want to go to school.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like we make it too generic.
Talked about that in church.
Yeah, if we make it too generic. Like somebody said on Facebook, your kid's stomach ain't hurt all summer long.
Right.
Like they've been in perfect health since they've been out of school. Right. But I feel like at what point, while we're taking our children seriously, are they able to manipulate that concern? They know it's the sensitive thing.
Well, see, and I think it becomes real when you start asking a real question. When I was young and like I said at church today, we use those same excuses. My stomach hurt, my head hurt. But until my mother said, well, you going to go to the doctor and get a shot. And I was like, yeah, never mind.
Right.
I'm going to school, because I ain't going to get any shot. And so when we start, making accusations, or not making accusations, but giving remedies, and they say, okay, take me to the doctor.
But what if they do?
Then they
Man,
probably really are.
Kids do that. I mean,
they stick to the lie.
Well, not just a lie, but can people be convinced that there's something wrong when there isn't? Yeah. And if they go into a place where it's the person's job to come up with a diagnosis, can they be misdiagnosed?
Oh, absolutely.
And, like people can be physically, if that can be a point. Tatum said, want to be a psychologist. We're talking, but need to listen to the voices trained in the field. I agree.
Absolutely.
But again, I'm still dealing with the skepticism. And a part of that is having moody kids, a daughter. A part of that is like, we've had these rough blow-ups. When we were kids, we've all had our blow-ups and our breakdowns and our this and our that. And it's so hard to gauge that fine line between stresses and struggles of being a kid, feeling misunderstood, not wanting to be bothered. Sometimes, especially with young people, all the way up to young adults, and sometimes even adults, we can be emotional and wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can be emotional and wrong. We can be emotional because we're wrong and not wanting to admit it, or because we're being called out for being wrong. Mm-hmm. Whether it's in our behavior or the reasoning we've come up for why we're doing something we failed at doing, some personality flaw we have expressed where we're just wrong. Our attitude does suck. We didn't do the right thing, and we dive into it's like you finally tell your girlfriend off or your wife off, and they start breaking down and crying. It's like, but the whole thing is
what I'm saying though is, if we don't do anything, then it's, we don't want to be the next school shooter.
I know. I just feel so. It feels so weird and tough to me. But
and like Pastor Tatum said, let's and I know it might cost a little bit, but let's go see a real. But then like you just said, they might diagnose it wrong because it's money in diagnosing. Well,
and you just said, I'm not saying they're doing it for money, but let's just be clear. There's every time you go visit a professional, there's money involved, money that we do not have.
Right.
Let's just be clear about that. There's a reason we put Band-Aids on everything. Tell our kid, just lay down, drink some ginger ale. Whole leg is broken.
Rest around here. Ginger ale.
Drink some ginger ale. I literally I never forget, I had a child that I forget which one of them had breathing problems in school. And they were like, the ambulance is coming. I'm like, no, I'm coming. I was like, no, I'm coming.
I'm pretty sure Todd can drive faster than the ambulance.
I can, and I did.
And the cops ain't gonna stop him because he George Johnson.
And the ambulance showed up. The ambulance showed up and tried to charge me for showing up.
Man, please.
That's what I'm saying. So, I live in real medical bill fear. So that colors, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
That's a whole show right there. Medical bill fear.
Real medical bill paranoia. If there is a paranoia or whatever around medical bills and the way things can rack up so quickly, I have it. I'm dead serious. That's a serious thing for me. And so, unfortunately, I fear personally that that will color my idea of seeking out treatment for anything. Like, I got some stuff going on. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna be uncomfortable for a while. I guess this.
Well, you need to come work at Wheatland too, because I don't pay hardly nothing for my medical bills. So.
But they kill you. That's because they're killing you. They're counting on you not making it.
They called the other day talking about, you have a bill for $57. If you pay it right now, we'll give you $23. I was like, here, man. Here's my card number.
I wish. But, we wish the best to this young lady. Somebody did say online about the kidnap situation. They were assuming it's a kidnapping. And they said, this better not be like a Jussie Smollett situation where they made it.
I figured it was like the Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. Okay. Girl. Yeah.
So
that was a good one.
We'll find out.
Time will tell.
It'll come out. Because
some black person gonna tell.
Oh, they gonna tell. Especially if she's black. She gonna tell. Yeah. She gonna do a write all book, at least in the next couple years.
It's gonna be a reality show. Well, y'all know what time it is, y'all. Like, share, tag somebody. I got a good one. It's time for Meme of the Week.
Meme of the Week. Meme of the Week.
Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen.
Meme of the Week. Meme of the
Week. Thank you. Send us your memes of the week.
Meme of the Week. Meme of the Week.
We are, these are all jokes. We are just playing.
All right, so I saw this one on Facebook, and I just could not let this week go by without sharing it. Pastor Jeff, we have all been in the funeral service. It's almost always a funeral. And someone passes a note to you and says somebody's car needs to be moved. It never fails. Or like a big anniversary service, a lot of churches there. Yes. Because why can't the Saints park?
They don't care.
Why can't the Saints why can't the Saints park?
Man.
We don't care.
Well, I mean, they pull in, you know what I mean? They half of them think they just gonna run in and run back out. And then they get caught up talking
50 people behind them said the same thing.
Right.
Right. So
you're gonna talk to somebody.
This is the most creative way of addressing without disrupting worship.
Of
addressing cars that need to be moved. Play that video.
My ministry. Move the car. Move the car. Move the car. Move the car. Wanga, move the car. Move the car. Move your car. Move the car. Move, 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 move. Move the car. Move the car. Move, move, move. Too bad.
I love it.
Move the car.
Yeah, yes.
Move the car.
I mean, that was the best.
I love it.
That was the best because they were obviously flowing in worship.
Right.
And somebody pops it up on the screen, and he's like, let's just deal with this right now. We do not have to set our praise aside for you to move. And it was like, they must have been like in Jamaica or somewhere. They had the
Caribbean
vibe going on. But move the car. That's it. That's it. I mean, now, here's the crazy thing. The groove is so good.
This person don't want to move that car.
Tatum said only a West Indian. I love it. The praise is so good that I would keep grooving. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, play it again. I'm gonna tell you whose car it was. Play
My
it again.
ministry.
It's a person dancing that more.
Right. It's gonna be this guy down in the corner. Watch.
Move the car. Move the car. Wanga, move the car. Move the car.
Yeah,
move
that's his car.
It's
his car.
Move.
He got his keys up. His keys in there. His keys in.
It's his key.
Move.
Too bad. I'm telling you, the guy that got the hype is, that goes down like he who smelt it dealt it. That's what that was. Whoever got hit the hardest by the groove. So after the whole song was over, he finally went out and probably moved.
Yeah, probably didn't have no gas. It ran out of gas there. Got to go get gas.
He waited for the preaching to talk. That's when everybody leaves, when the preaching's about to start. That's when everybody goes to move their car. But I want to commend whoever, that praise and worship team and band. They were locked in.
Love them.
They were unmoved and unshaken, undistracted.
What else can you do with that? What else can you make into a song in church?
Probably with everything. Take your baby. Baby's crying. Right.
Give your neighbor a high five.
Right.
Give your neighbor a high five.
I love it. Oh man, I'm losing I pulled my thing up. My bad. But I was trying to adjust it, man. Fix my mic. Fix my mic.
Turn my microphone down.
Right. Need more monitor.
That's great.
Come in from the outside. From the outside. Reach around. Wrench around.
Get your wallets out.
Right. I love it. Well, good music always makes folk give better. That's the way it goes. But no, I appreciate that meme. If you got a meme, you can send it in to religiously incorrect podcast at gmail.com. We probably won't use it, but just to humor you, we'll take it. Tell you we received it. We usually find something pretty funny online every week. That was a good one. That was
great.
All right. We want to thank our sponsors today. Phillips Care Lawn Services. She said, sit down. Phillips Care, $30 starting in lawn care. It's right way in the summer. I told y'all before, you're probably doing a terrible job. I tried to let my boy cut a little bit of the grass.
Why?
He missed one line and I snatched the mower back from him. Like,
you don't see it.
Right. I was
See the lawnmower going that way.
Joe Jackson. I was like, man, go move them bricks from one side of the yard to the other. Call Fernando at 330-219-7916. They take care of it all. Leaves, grass, trim, bushes, all that stuff, edging. And while you're at it, check out Phillips Care Cleaning Service. They do residential and commercial. Don't waste your time. Let them do it. Carpet cleaning, deep cleaning, move in, move out, all types of maintenance, upholstery cleaning, wood floor cleaning. If it needs to be cleaned, moved, fixed, or adjusted, they can do it, but they cannot fix your life. Call Fernando at 219-7916. Look up Phillips Care LLC on Facebook.
And we want to also sponsor Action, Alliance for Congregational Transformation, influencing our neighborhoods. We are so excited. Yesterday, we had the 1-year anniversary of the mobile market with Action downtown at the Covelli Center. Listen, for all your racial concerns.
All your racial justice needs.
Racial justice needs.
Bring all your racial justice needs to Action.
All your housing.
We're having a fire sale on protests.
If you need somebody to march.
Flag next door.
Listen, discount boycotts all summer long.
We do them. We got you.
Everything must go. All laws must be passed. I love it. I love it. All right, man. Today's show is just going to be a little bit lighthearted. It kind of covers some material we've hit because we've had some good material talking about
absolutely
heaven, hell, the end, like rapture. Like, I guess you can call it rapture stuff.
Yeah.
But we want to like open up another kind of frame of this discussion, and we call this episode Apocalypse Now. We call this Apocalypse Now, and I'm going to tie this in. Speaking of abductions and the possibility of human trafficking, there was this movie out, and I'm looking for the name of it, but it's about like it's a Christian movie about a guy that like rescues a child trafficking victim.
Okay.
But it's like tied to QAnon.
Okay.
And those of you that don't know what QAnon is, it's like that conspiracy theory that's attached to a lot of the more extreme Trump supporters, MAGA people.
Right.
And it's really strong in Christian circles, evangelical Christian circles. And if you have never heard of QAnon, it's literally just like this wild, really crazy conspiracy theory. And you know who the star of this movie is? I got to find this
First
movie.
of all, if you never heard of QAnon, you don't go to a Baptist church, and you need to get there.
Right.
You need to get there.
Right. But the reason I want to bring this up is because the star of this movie, it's called The Sound of Freedom. Okay. And it's about this like CIA agent guy that went rogue basically and started his own organization to rescue child trafficking victims because he felt like the government wasn't doing enough. It stars, here's the interesting thing though. It stars that man that was the Passion of the Christ guy, Jim Caviezel. Okay. It stars Jim Caviezel. I can't say his name.
It don't matter. Everybody know who Jesus was.
Yeah, it was a guy that got beat up in the Jesus movie. Okay, he was the Jesus guy. Okay. But here's the crazy thing. He is like a full-on conspiracy theorist. And every press conference he's gone to, every thing he's attended, he has literally spent almost the entire time just talking about theories about not just abducting children. Sound of Freedom.
Okay.
Not just abducting children. I'm going somewhere with this. Not just abducting children, but they have this weird theory about adrenochrome, I want to say is the word. And I know this is getting weird because trust me, it's going to get weirder. It's going to get weirder. They believe in this like adrenochrome, which is some kind of substance in the blood that's only in the blood of children. This is fake, by the way. It's not real.
Okay.
It's like a conspiracy.
Okay.
And they think that people are abducting these children to drink their blood. but they're attaching like Hollywood stars, government people, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, all these people like because that's what QAnon was. QAnon was, I don't know if you guys heard this stuff during the election. Like there's a pizza shop where they're hiding kids and raping them and drinking their blood and all this other stuff. Then they were sending kids through furniture or something. They were sending like kids through like Wayfair furniture website. And they were saying that that's a front for child trafficking. And if you buy like a dresser, like a kid in it, you know, like they're using that to ship. This is real. But what I'm saying, all of that to say is that the theories are getting crazier and crazier, but they're all centered around this idea that the world is coming to this dramatic end. And it's not just anymore, Jesus will return.
Right.
It's not just Jesus will return. There's this government conspiracy. And that's the whole point of the QAnon thing, is that Trump is supposed to play. Yeah, tickets are free. That's why it almost beat Indiana Jones. This cheap Christian, it's like literally one of those cheap Christian
at the
movies.
Movie theater?
Yeah, they almost
I thought that was a series.
No, it's a movie at a theater.
Oh, wow.
And not only can you buy tickets, but what they did was they did a campaign, Elder Carter, where you could just buy tickets for someone else and donate them. So that just like blew up the ticket sales. Because here's one thing Christians are going to do. If they think that they're doing something noble.
Oh, yeah, they're going to make it free.
And they're going to spend big money. Because people need, like same thing with Passion to Christ. You know, they were doing all these, you know, we took buses and we were buying out theaters and all that kind of stuff. But that's why we chose the name Apocalypse Now. I'm not trying to talk your ear off a bunch of craziness, but we really want to talk about the more fringe ideas and theories that have become to take root.
And the funny thing is, Pastor, is that, you know, when you add a star's name to it, for some reason, it gives it some
legitimacy.
Whether it's real or not, whether they actually agree with it or not. You know, you add a star's name to it, and the star generally usually doesn't say anything because their motif is any news is good news.
Right. Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
But this guy is like going the opposite, where he is putting himself out there as the controversial figure. You know what I mean? Like usually stars will just take the money.
Right.
You know, do the little press things and push this thing, whether they believe in it or not. But what we're seeing is the use of media and use of internet, of course, to push these theories and ideas that used to only come around every so often. I remember when I was a kid, Scott, I know you remember this. If any of you guys are old enough, when I was a kid, late 80s, there were like several rapture scares.
Oh, yeah.
You know, several rapture scares. Tickets were sent to me for Action to attend. Well, you're a blood drinker too now, Rosetta, so congratulations. You're in the... But I remember, like, having people in my life.
Not low quality.
Right. Oh, I get it, Scott. Yeah, it's not low quality. I won't say low quality, but what I will say is the story is the studio that produced it felt it wasn't good enough to release. It got bought out by like a Christian production company.
Okay.
Because it was owned by like one of the majors. And I guess when they went through restructuring, whatever, they didn't include it. And you're correct, it was withheld from release. But then that becomes the story. Why was it withheld from release? Well, it depends on who you ask. Because if it's from that standpoint, then it's because they're trying to keep the truth from being told.
Right?
Because that's going to be the story.
Always.
Everything has a connection to something else, right? It's never just the theaters, and those that don't know, like just like music producers, music companies, movie companies have TV shows, movies that they, for whatever reason, don't want to release. It doesn't fit their budget anymore. It doesn't fit their motif, whatever, and they shelve movies. Whatever Rosetta said, they are in the garbage.
I was wondering because I'm like, she ain't telling me nothing about these tickets. But
oh, that's hilarious.
That's why I thank you.
That is hilarious.
So I mean, so you were saying that you had several rapture, and I mean, I'm no offense to anybody, but I know that the Seventh-day Adventists, the raptures came like 6 times or so. I mean, you know, they've had several different times that, you know, the world was supposed to come to an end.
That everything was supposed to come to an end. But what we're seeing now more of is the dissemination and the spread of more complicated theories of like how this all ties together. And now you're seeing it through, well, if this legislation passes, it's a sign. They're starting to 88 reasons for 88. Thank you, Pastor Scott. I knew you're gonna. I called you Pastor Scott. Thank you, Brother Scott. I knew you were gonna remember. That was a real like book pamphlet. 88 reasons why the rapture is coming in 1988. Look it up. And of course, Y2K. We talked about that on the phone the other night. We talked about it on phone. Y2K. All the computers were gonna zero
all
out.
Of waters and
right.
So I was at church. We waiting for it to go off.
Right.
We
was at church. I mean, we was
midnight service.
We was halfway praising, but that had to be the most scared New Year's praise all the churches ever had. Because midnight is supposed to be shout at the altar time. We made it. That had to be the most looking out the corner of your eye praise I'd ever seen in my life.
And I'm like, somebody's clock ain't right. Because I know something got to happen.
But the real story here is not one's belief about Jesus coming back and the idea of the rapture, theology, and doctrine. We've talked about that. You said the Mayans?
Yeah, the Mayans.
Yeah, the Mayan calendar.
Oh, just right there.
Okay. That's not the point to me anymore. The point to me is how much we have ingrained modern conspiracy theories with the idea. It's not even a doctrinal question anymore. It's how many puzzle pieces can we put together and how many things can we point to that seems to prove our point.
Right.
Now, some stuff is real generic. And some people might get offended by this, but I bet any black or white, doesn't even matter what denomination or feel, if you see something like you've seen the way the media, the way entertainment is, the way human sexuality is, sexual identity, the way things have opened up, LGBTQ, transgenderism, all that, people would look at that and be like, see, it's just like the days of Noah. Just like the days, Jesus warned us about. That this debauchery. Sodom and Gomorrah, debauchery. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not mocking it. I'm just saying that used to be the general thing.
Right.
Now it's become like, look at that law they're about to pass. And did you know that if this person gets elected, that this will happen? And the reason they're, making plantless burgers is because they're planning a one world food system. And it just morphs into this ecosystem.
Somebody told me the other day that I need to stop eating these new watermelons with no seeds in them. And
I heard that. I don't know. They're genetically engineered
and all that stuff.
They're Antichrist melons.
Trump been Antichrist forever, so
Obama was before him.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I mean, that's just where it was.
Actually, all of them was Antichrist.
All of to somebody.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing. Everybody's the Antichrist to somebody.
Absolutely.
And then you have like the idea of like United Nations, the NATO, the European Union, the New World Order.
Absolutely.
I remember, I think it was George Bush Sr., the older Bush. It is like an old clip of him speaking of like, we're in a new world order. Thank you, Sister Janet. I'm getting to that. The Left Behind series, which there have been several of at this point. We're like on our third series of like movies about what's going to happen in the end and all of that.
Divine revelation of hell.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
the book.
Yeah. It's a lot. So I came up with three things. Normally, I don't do this like preaching point wise, but I think they'd be great for discussion.
Okay.
Why are Christians so given to conspiracy theories? And why do we have this obsession with them being attached to the end? Like, especially evangelical Christians. And by the way, we say evangelical like we're talking about white conservatives, but black people like a good story too.
Oh, yeah.
We like to, it's probably this, it's probably that. It's something in the watermelons. They doing something to the water. Chemtrails.
Got to be water.
Right. 5G networks and how it just plays into this, everything's going down. I had a few theories that we can talk about.
Okay.
Number one, it simplifies complicated things. We don't want to accept as Christians, no matter what God's ultimate plan is in the divine sense, is that, and I agree with you, Scott, I keep calling you pastor, man. Is that a prophecy or what? But I agree with you. We read the book and know how it ends, and I agree with you. We know that in the end, Christ wins the victory. The church is caught up. I try to choose my words carefully because I'm shifting in my beliefs in the way I say things, to be honest. But I believe that there is a God end to all of this, to be honest.
Absolutely.
But regardless of that, why do we feel the need to attach so much other auxiliary ideas and happenings in the world to this? Because we really go to some gymnastics to try to tie Bible with just life. And because we don't like to wrestle with the complication that is life.
Right.
Life is complicated. It's complicated for one person. Put hundreds of millions and billions of people, tens of thousands of people working in government, elected to offices, different ideas and opinions. And I could tell you all day long from working on, even on just city council, some of the stuff y'all think is a conspiracy is just us being stupid or opinionated or stubborn. And you really think there was some plan in the back room to do this, that, or the other? We just wanted to go home.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, it's not as deep. I'm not saying there aren't some evil people that have bad intentions doing things, but I just feel like we like the idea that there's this good guy and this bad guy, like in this cartoony way.
Right.
And there's like the Cobra commander or whatever, you know, like constantly trying to infiltrate.
Who went back to G.I. Joe?
I'm just saying. It's like, I feel like that's what I'm looking at. Like, we're looking at like doggone
but also
Gargamel half the time.
Pastor, I believe that oftentimes it is complicated. And well, not complicated, but you know, there are little things. But then I also believe that there are some people who are taking this whole thing and using it for their gain.
Because people,
it is no way in the world that people like Jay-Z didn't use Hove for a particular reason, outside of everybody thinking that he's, what is that called? What they call the stars, Mike? What's the Illuminati?
Oh, he's supposed to be Illuminati.
Yeah, Illuminati.
Right.
There's nowhere in the world Kanye didn't say Yeezy for his. There's nowhere in the world that dude didn't make the video dressed as the devil and having sex in hell.
Oh, because no publicity is bad publicity,
right, you know,
and they know they can rile people up, and Christians are easily riled.
Easily riled. That's the word.
That's easily riled.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is rile up Christians. Go to the party store and get some horns and like take a picture. And literally, that's all you have to do.
And it doesn't even have to be that difficult. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I write numbers on my work at my job.
He plays the numbers.
If I come to 666, I don't care. I'm skipping
over it.
I'm skipping
Listen,
over it.
I will buy something at the store. Give me another pack of gum. This total will not come up to 666.
It's not gonna come up. We ain't gonna let it happen.
I don't care about taxes. I don't care about price points. All I care is that like that superstition. And by the way, that's another one I could add. As much as we like to claim that we don't believe, Christians are superstitious and sometimes cannot tell the difference between superstition and spirituality.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They cannot tell the difference between superstition, and spirituality. And some of your most saved, so-called sanctified folks are the number one ones talking about bad luck, bad omen, good omen, watch the weather, this, that, and the other. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing biblical or scriptural.
They read all these signs, and you're a Taurus, and you act that way because you're a Taurus.
Like, I'll be honest, like, I know it's a product of the world in which we live that is bound by sin, no doubt about it. And I have shifted a little bit. Oh, yes, thrives on license. Now, Christians want to say, I told you so, too. That is very good. They want to say, I told you so.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to that in a second because that's very good. You're getting ahead of me. Stay out of my sermon, Scott. No, but anyway, let's just say like homosexuality and things like that. No matter what we feel or like about it, even if we have Christian convictions, homosexuality is sin, transgenderism is sinful, doesn't matter. We don't like to wrestle with the fact that the world we live in, the government we set up, allows for people to exercise their rights.
That's right.
To be treated the same, to not be discriminated against, regardless of what we think is sin. So like, we don't know how to separate the two and be like, yes, you could believe it's sin if that's your belief and conviction, that's your biblical, scriptural, and I do. You know, we do. I'm not saying I don't, but I'm saying if that's really your down home, everything's going to pot because of that, I get it. But that does not change this free country we live in, that at some point, that contingency of citizen is going to exercise the same rights that blacks, Irish, Italian, Latino, whatever, women. It's another subgroup that has faced discrimination. And now, do you like what you see in the way it's expressed and drag shows and all this? Well, you don't have to like it. I'm not telling you to like it. But what I'm saying is we attach that. We don't like to look at the complicated, hey, this is what government is. People are going to exercise. This is the way it goes. People have special interest groups, whatever you want to call them. Money flows, culture flows. We don't like to just say that that's how life works. We like to say everything is the product of this plan.
Absolutely.
Everything is an agenda. You know what I mean? So simple. Here's the second thing, and Scott was there. Here's the second thing. Not only does it simplify what's complicated, we don't like to wrestle with complicated things. That's why we don't like to, honestly, that's why we don't like real teaching in the Bible, is because we just want you to preach simple things.
Fluff. Stuff to tickle your
Scream at
ears.
the walls and the walls will come down. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, real simple stuff. We don't like to talk about the more complicated things around those. But anyway, here's the second thing. We like to feel like we have access to a secret. That we have secret knowledge, divine knowledge. And by the way, to Scott's point, we're sharing that knowledge and we can't wait to be proven that our knowledge was right.
Or wrong.
Well, we won't admit it if it's wrong. We won't admit it if it's wrong. But I just feel like we want to feel like we have access to a secret. And we say stuff like, what the world don't know is this is really XYZ, what the world don't understand, and da-da-da-da-da. And like, we almost feel like, and honestly, I feel like we take a lot of arrogance and pride. They don't know they're going to burn. Like literally, like almost pride in punishment that other people are going to suffer.
Right.
Do you ever hear people like talk like they can't wait for people to be punished?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know, like they don't get it, but they gonna find out one day. Y'all gonna find out one day. and we don't realize, what was that? Somebody sent me a picture of that. Remember that? What was it? Westboro Church. Remember that church that was out like saying like, you know, all the gays are gonna burn, and they were like always protesting, like they were protesting like kids' funerals and stuff. You know, like they were literally going to like preschools. With signs about fags and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. But I don't think we realize how much we sound like that.
Oh.
I don't think we realize. And again, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have a conviction. But we almost have like this glee. This gleeful secret.
Right.
I know something you don't know until it happens. And they was right there with Scott. I told you so. Told y'all that war was going to break out. Told y'all it was only a matter of time before they come. That is a perfect example, like the economy.
But the point, all clocks are right at least 2 times a day.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's just the reality.
You can't go 20 years without a war. You can't go 30 years without a recession.
Listen, when you talked about this the other day when we was talking about how some of these guys, well, I read all the Bible plus the Apocrypha and all this. Listen, if God wanted you to come on, stop it. It's just not that deep. It's not that deep.
And does God need our conspiratorial knowledge to accomplish his will? And by the way, that goes back to something else about secrets. Is we like to feel like we're exposing somebody else's secret. So that goes back to the Illuminati. How many times have Christians gotten dragged into this? You see that thing that he's doing with his hand when Will Smith takes a picture? That's a sign.
Oh my God, I hate
to
it.
the rest of
it's gonna come you're
what
gonna
if
see
it was though? Okay, here's my thing though. What if it is? What if they're up here doing this stuff, right? And they're making these symbols. What
he doing crip walk? He crip walk.
Whatever this stuff is, I mean, I don't know if they've watched too much He-Man or something. I mean, like, you know, you do your hands a certain way, we think like the power is going to come out of their hands. Like, what's going to happen? Like, I really mean, like, when you think you saw like somebody make an Illuminati symbol, or, you know, they made the eye of the whatever.
I mean, I think these people literally watch it to find something.
They want to find, you cannot do your fingers. Like, you got to put your hands in your pocket.
Right. I mean,
to take a picture.
I mean, no matter what costume Beyonce wear, no matter what pants, President Michelle Obama wears, you're gonna find something. Stop.
Man, you could be at a high school football game watching the band march, and you look at the formation, they may be like, "That's the Diamond of Osiris," and I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?" But I'm like, "But what?" So I guess my question about the whole secret thing is, so what if they are? Like, they're signaling their followers, or they're activating their. What is
they doing it for you? That's who they doing it for.
Yeah, they're doing
for
it to screw with you. They're trolling you, basically.
Yep, they doing it for you.
You know, but to me, I'm just like, and so what? What if there is, what if there is? I guess, like they say, Illuminati. Do you see this last one about it was like Puff Daddy's party or somebody's party, and they claimed that some of the rappers, it was a part of a, like they must have given themselves over, like initiation kind of thing, and. They were looking a little on the effeminate side.
Only thing I can remember is Prince 1999, and they wanted me to play the record backwards, and I tried it.
Oh man, they had like Judas Priest and some other.
It ain't work. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
The new one now is Jamie Foxx is a clone.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is a clone.
It's not him. It's a clone.
Yeah.
Is he out? Did they see him?
He's been seen everywhere, in the last week, and that's when they suddenly started this "he's a clone" thing.
Oh, God.
Right. But I mean, it goes back to the secret thing. You know, it's like I either have a secret or I'm exposing a secret, and my question now at this stage in life is so what does it matter? Is that going to speed up, or do you think you're going to speed up something by knowing and looking at it? If I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, if Jesus is coming back,
Scott said it the best. We love likes, and so you say it, and you know all the rest of the conspiracy theorists gonna come out. They gonna like it. They gonna comment on it, and you gonna get famous off of somebody else's foolishness.
Well, I understand the point that Sister McFadden is making. Doesn't the word say in the end times, even the elite will be fooled? Should some of this be taken seriously? I would say yes. You take it seriously in the context of your own faith conviction, but not to me in the context of making this the central element, and too many people are doing this. Like, the focus is exposing. If somebody is wrapped up in something, they just are. I don't know how to say that, especially somebody I don't know personally. Like, am I gonna go find Jay-Z and like minister to him? Like, bro, you need to be free from this Illuminati stuff, man. Because I bet you he gets messages like that all the time.
I think to her point, she's talking about things like the Left Behind series. And I mean,
well, I consider the whole thing garbage. To be honest, the entire Left Behind narrative is trash to me. To me, it's trash. It's evangelical sensationalism.
So what you saying? Are you saying that you don't believe the rapture is going to take place?
I don't believe it's going to be according to that narrative that we have generated with this whole, you know, it's going to be
planes
some
falling
Eastern,
out the sky.
Yeah, planes falling out the sky. One parent disappears from the bed.
And all you're going to see is their clothes lying there. And
yeah, that whole thing. That's I'm over that.
That's Hollywood.
That's Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood. And thank you, Scott. The devil has no, and I'm not saying we don't take the devil seriously, we don't take evil seriously. We cannot speed up nor slow down the coming of the Lord.
That's right.
Nor the workings of evil. And that's what I'm trying to say is we think that's the whole thing about conspiracy is the idea that we somehow exercise some kind of control. And we don't. Mm-hmm. No man knows the day nor the hour, no matter how many. And I often said, and I said it today too, honestly, I don't even believe that's a rapture scripture.
Which one?
No man knows the day or the hour. I believe 2 men will be in the field. 2 men. I believe that's a life scripture.
Okay.
You know,
break it down. What do you mean?
The Bible says that 2 men will be in the field. You know, 2 women will be working, or 2 women will be at the mill, and one will be there, one will be gone. I think that speaks literally to the fleeting nature of life. And once you've lived that life, Meaning you walk into work on Monday, you say, I'll see you tomorrow, Jim. You walk into work on Tuesday morning, and they say Jim is dead.
Absolutely.
That's what I think, because I've lived through that. We all have at some point or another. Come to church in the morning, Deacon so-and-so is gone.
I was talking to Glenn, and we was talking about a good friend of ours we both know that he worked with, and his son, him and his son worked together, and his son was killed on a motorcycle. And I mean, they work right next to each other. So when he came back to work, he had to go to that same place. And I mean, it's just,
absolutely.
I mean, it's painful.
I'm not denying that there is a glorious end, that Jesus returns and all of that. I'm just saying that the whole Hollywood narrative that surrounds it, that feeds into conspiracy. It's watch out for who might be an agent of the Antichrist.
Right.
Because that's how the movies go. Once the rapture happens, half the people are agents of the Antichrist, and they probably were already working the whole time. And it goes back to what we were saying. We think that these people are being set. That's what we say. Things are being set in place right now.
Right.
People are being set in place right now.
And for those pastors who use it, a lot of it is just a scare tactic to get numbers, to get you to join.
Oh, can I go in another direction? Can I go in another direction?
Go right ahead.
Because this is, and I'm not picking on nobody, but it is a conservative evangelical trope. Is it not become more of a conspiratorial fear that someone or something is taking over and conspiring against people? The more multicultural, the more diversity, the more the world is changing and the power dynamics are shifting, the more it is estimated that there will be more minorities in the United States and more Latinos, more blacks, and the more we're seeing power dynamics shift across, that Europe is not always the center of power anymore, China rising up, South America controlling oil. Like, the more they see the loss of their personal, political, financial control, the more they tie it to spiritual apocalypse.
Absolutely.
And nobody will say it. All right, y'all see all these darkies coming up here. It must be coming to the end. They won't say that. But I just feel it. And I'm not saying everybody who believes in the end or everybody who sees signs. I'm not saying that you're all racist or biased or prejudiced. I'm just saying that there has been multiple panics that generate from whole neighborhoods, all the way up to geopolitical happenings. Because new players and new power dynamics are at work that the old, especially Christian Western guard, doesn't control.
Absolutely.
Doesn't control. And why did they hate communism so much? Because it was godless. That was the whole thing. For those that don't know, communism was the godless government. Vladimir Putin and these people, they are very diminishing of the church. In China, they're completely, and I'm not saying that's good at all, but I'm just saying that's their culture and how they choose to live and what they choose to believe or not believe. But we tie that to like a conspiracy. We said that. Lately, people have been calling Donald Trump the Antichrist. And a whole other group of people call him like the Christ-like figure.
Oh, yeah, Savior.
Like he's the one that's supposed to save them from this.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what's really exciting to me is my daughter called me this morning and, I said, you ain't going to church? She said, yeah. I said, you still going over there to the colonizers?
Not the colonizers. Colonizer Baptist Church.
And she said, no. She go to Brian Keith Williams' son's church now.
Okay.
I said, yes, sir.
I like
Look
it.
at God. The world is about to come to an end.
Hope City.
Hope City.
Hope
She
City's
done
a
left
great
the
place.
colonizers.
We got to have him on. He's a good dude.
Is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
great guy.
Okay.
Great guy. We got to have him on. But, okay, so we talked about simplicity. We talked about a secret. Here's the last one. Because people want to be sure about something. They want to be sure. And then that goes back to what Brother Scott said. How many times have we heard in church, I went to the back of the book and I know how it ends. Mm-hmm. Now, again, in generalities, yes, I believe it ends with God being glorified.
Okay.
It's going to clip right back.
Okay.
We're going to have a quick blip. Everyone is so obsessed with being sure. And that goes back to, I know how the book ends. But the truth is, none of us know exactly how it ends. None of us know exactly how that's going to play out, but we want to know
absolutely
every single detail. We want to know every single movement and shift. And to what Scott said earlier, we want to say, I told you so. But I don't think, to be honest, I think God is going to fix it that nobody's going to be right about exactly how it happens.
And to my point,
that's what I believe. I believe God is going to fix it so that the one thing nobody is right about is exactly how and what happens in the end.
Well, I mean, to my point, I mean, to me, when you've not been a little church boy all your life, when you've not grown up in the church and you've made plenty of mistakes, you don't want everything to be right.
Right.
I don't want everything to be right. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We don't want everything to be right. And that type of talk doesn't make, well, it can go both ways. It will either make no sense to people who were not raised on this, or to people who lived in confusion most of their life, it'll make perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Because it explains everything that they were going through. But I fully believe, and I want to hear from y'all.
And I have a lot of questions. I'm just going to be honest.
Go ahead.
I have even like today, I went out to Villa Maria, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching this priest, and I'm like, how right is he?
How right is who?
This priest. I'm like, this dude, and I'm
Which
just
priest?
the priest who was doing the service.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, this dude ain't never been married, supposedly ain't never had sex, I don't believe that. I mean, what kind of no, I'm just saying, I mean, first of all, I just don't think did it make him more holy than everybody else? He couldn't preach better than us. I mean, I'm
right. You spend all this time devoting yourself to scripture.
You ain't hot.
And it still ain't got no hoop. I just feel like, no, okay, that's a whole nother story. Because if your entire job is just reading scriptures and studying, and you don't even have sex or have kids,
you should be,
and you suck at preaching,
you should be anointed than a monk. I don't know.
Go get you some hoes. If you gonna preach like this, if you gonna preach this bad, just go get you a woman.
I'm like, seriously, I don't get it. I'm like, what would make you want to do that?
Their beliefs. But I'm saying, I don't think the Seventh-day Adventist is right. I don't think the Jehovah's Witness is right. And for those of you that know all these deep terms, the premillennialist, postmillennial, mid-millennial, dispensation, I don't believe any of them are right. I don't believe any of us are right. And again, that's why
So we all wrong.
We're all wrong. And I think God wants us to be wrong. We don't want to accept that there's just some stuff He doesn't want us, nor do we need to know. And so my issue comes in is what Sister Jeanette said earlier, and it's a common sentiment, and it's a good sentiment. We should know these things to take themselves seriously and all that stuff. But I also feel like we're mixing worldly wisdom in with this, like the know thy enemy stuff, to where we become like Satanologists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're like Satanologists and demonologists and antichristologists and all that. And you don't love your neighbor. You are not kind to people. And again, you're almost gleeful about what's going to happen to the people who don't believe you. And which is to me, that's Antichrist.
Absolutely.
Antichrist is almost wishing destruction on people because they didn't receive. Bible tells me, just me, that Jesus was burdened by the fact that he was not received.
Right.
That he was heartbroken by the fact that he had to shake the dust off his feet, that Israel didn't really know what they had in front of them. And so that's my struggle, is that we almost have like a gleeful desire. Yes, the Bible says that Jesus said, not him, only the Father knows about the end times. Absolutely. But I just think all the happenings, all the government shiftings, this many people are going to move over here and all that stuff.
You are on it today.
Is he on it?
The entire gospel is based on the fact that professional religious Pharisees who were experts on the scripture didn't recognize the Messiah when he was standing in front of them. We don't stand a chance.
I love it. And we don't.
And please, he said, by the way, please listen, stop reading these backwards, backyard mechanic prophets
Please.
who are writing books
Please.
with their own personal opinions, talking about they had an out-of-body experience.
I went to hell and came back.
You know it, yeah. And
The Antichrist
Jesus
came.
told
We
me-
went out and got milkshakes with the Antichrist, and he told me what he was about to do.
He said, milkshakes with the
You know, he told me the whole plan. But they act like they're so intimate. Like, how can you know God and the devil so well at the same time? That's just me. How can you know God and the devil? Like, you spend so much time with the devil, you know everything he's planning on doing and how he's going to do it and who he's going to possess. And
Whenever somebody say the Lord told me personally, I'm like, all right.
Deuces.
All right.
Yeah. And I just feel like, but here's the end part of this, Pastor Jeff. This is fueling
This is closing, y'all.
political, social, and like divisive, because if we don't believe in the conspiracies, in the rhetoric, in the insinuations, then we're a part of the problem and we're a part of the conspiracy. It's like you're a part of the masses, because now people have said it, like you preachers are just up there still doing the same old preaching, and like, and you're not preaching. And I'm sitting here preaching about Jesus died for your sins, He loves you, da da da. But if you ain't preaching them to watch out for that clone sheep, then you're leaving your people blind and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what will that change? Okay, don't eat that, what do you call it, the Wonder Whopper or whatever, what is it, the Impossible Burger?
Impossible Burger.
Don't eat the Impossible Burger. Okay, so after I get done with that, and...
Well, I mean, you can't eat pork. You can't eat nothing. I'm down with it. Whatever.
The one world
DeSantis
system?
is the devil.
Okay.
DeSantis is the devil. He's the Antichrist. DeSantis is all of it.
Digital currency.
Oh my God.
There's laws going to be passed for digital. I'm just saying it creates, and yet remember, people who are Christians are saying, because of my belief in these things, I will vote whether I'm a citizen or an actual representative.
Absolutely.
There are people who have been voted in they're not even mainstream Christians. They're fringe Christians. Mm-hmm. They're fringe Christians.
Come on, sir. Benefits.
And they're voting on fringe Christian beliefs in Congress.
Yes, sir.
And they're not even a part of any traditional, well-supported scriptural belief. And to me, that's scary, because those are the people that are the most devoted to their belief. And they can convince other people that by voting or doing or trying to change this or change that or prevent this, we got to stop this or stop that. There's somebody out there probably voting against immigration because they think the Antichrist is in a caravan somewhere trying to get across the Texas border. Because they're full of this craziness. But that's the people who are making decisions for us. And we got to pay attention to that. So, that's my thing, is that unfortunately, the more fringe you are, the more frenetic you are, and the more determined you are. You know what I mean? The more delirious you are, the more determined you are. And they will not stop. And unfortunately, because of the craziness of our world, we just don't accept that I'm not even sure if the world is crazier or if we just have a better view of the crazy world that always was.
Well, I don't know if it's a better world, or is it a more sentimental world? And what I mean by sentimental is that we have given rights to anybody and everybody and anything. I mean,
so they shouldn't have them.
I ain't saying that they shouldn't have them, but I can say I am a little boy in a grown man's body. I feel like I'm 1 year old. And people will say, that's your right to say that. That's stupid.
It is your right to say that. It is stupid.
It's absolutely stupid. You cannot say,
I'm a dog, put me on a leash and walk me around the park.
Come on.
I need my furry rights.
I was watching the other day where a guy said, the judge said, you are sentenced to 30 years. He's like, I'm not going to jail. He said, yes, you are. You going to jail? He said, what do you mean you ain't going to jail? He said, I don't define myself as a prisoner. I mean, seriously.
That reminds me of a joke. That reminds me of a joke of a guy. exactly what you were saying. And he was like, well, if I ever get picked up for a crime, for like murder or something, and I'm getting ready to go to jail for 30 years, he was like, as soon as the judge says you're sentenced, he's going to say, I'm a lady. I'm a woman. Send me to the woman's prison.
And they probably will.
I know it's not that simple. I know it. I know there's a whole process. So don't jump on me about transgenderism. But he literally was like, I'm a lady. Like that quick. But yes, we have 1 million TikTok pastors to nitpick hot takes from. You're absolutely right. There are so many beliefs, but unfortunately, they get more of a platform than your average minister.
Absolutely. Who
is just loving his community, preaching Jesus.
Especially when they gone viral.
The crazier you talk, the better.
Oh yeah. So
pay stripes on me and take me to the zoo. So, I mean, I don't think this is the end. I don't even think this is the beginning of the end, as Kevin quoted Winston Churchill. I think we got a long way to go. And our brains just can't fathom that.
Why don't you just be ready? How about that? Just be ready as you can.
All I'm going to say is when somebody fired up a vehicle, a gas-powered vehicle 100 years ago or something, people looked at that and was like, this is the end.
Absolutely.
When a dude got a plane off the ground, somebody said, this is the end.
Right.
You know, and we have so much more to see. And that includes technology. That includes government. You know, we forget how many times the world has shifted, completely shifted geopolitically. Like this country just doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
This country just took over that country, changed names. Now everything is a sign. But if that was the sign, then when the kingdom of Prussia was dissolved, that which no longer exists, it's like Germany.
I know when all those kids crashed the other day and survived, when a plane crashed and the kids survived, they said that was a sign.
One of them's the Antichrist. How else would you survive if you didn't have demonic powers in you or something? I mean, that's just how. I mean,
all the adults died and the kids lived. So.
Oh yeah, definitely one of them Satan's seed. All the movies I've seen, all the Netflix movies I've watched, just inform my theology now. So yeah, if that is
the devil. All the Hulu, Netflix.
Yeah, that's the case. So
HBO Max.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to exercise caution. And I guess the other thing is, besides doing stupid shows about this, I choose not to answer it. I'm not having discussions about it. I'm not letting people invite me to crazy, conferences about it. I'm not getting in Facebook debates about it. I'm not even letting Christians panic me with like whatever new law is going to change everything. Like Negro, we've been through slavery. What else? What else can possibly change everything at this point? Watch out for AI. You've been in AI for like 30 years. You just didn't know it. You literally just didn't know it. You don't think your credit card hasn't been tracking you since the 80s? How do you think they know where to build stores? How do you think they know where to put schools? It's just crazy. We gotta get that.
What?
Remember the meme? Remember the song? The white people singing the song where the devil's in the phone booth dialing 911?
That one.
You were here. Wasn't he here for the show?
Was I here?
Do we still have that video or we deleted it?
The devil in the phone booth dialing 911.
The devil, the devil's in the phone booth dialing 911. Something about a spiritual gun?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Okay, we got to bring that one back.
That is hilarious.
Well, y'all, we thank y'all for watching, including through the glitch.
So much.
But listen, I'll be clear. If the apocalypse comes, it just comes. But I don't think it's coming. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be with Jesus anyway.
Maybe. You might be here. You might be here with the.
Well, because I believe in Jesus, if I'm wrong, I win. And can I add one more thing? I'm going to say this
I
boldly.
Go to the bathroom.
Whatever, man. Sit there and pee on yourself. Salvation is not based off what you believe about the rapture. It's based off what you believe about Jesus.
That's right. Indeed, that's a great place to end.
That's a great place to end because Jeff has to go to the bathroom. So, hey, y'all, follow us on Facebook, YouTube. Nobody told you to drink all that water.
You gave it to me.
You said before the show.
I said I don't want nothing.
You said before the show. Nobody told you to drink it. You're so easily tempted. You're so easily tempted. And let's keep talking some more about. Let's keep. And in my third close. Hit the button, Mike.